Hindi
The
nga,
testimony
tinatanong
of
nga
the
kita,
sworn affidavit.
nung nag-report sa iyo, hindi mo ba napansin kung reasonable o unreasonable yung validation? Kasi dapat magsuspecha ka na paano nakapagbibigay yung isang tao ng statement na may baril si the late Mayor Espinosa doon sa selda niya. You are lying!
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, but I cannot...
Mr. Chair, may I respectfully move that we cite Major Laraga in contempt for
Seconded.
violation of Section 11.
Seconded.
There's a
So
motion.
move, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion to cite Major Laraga in contempt. You are now cited in contempt, Major Laraga.
Mr. Chair, can I check the record first?
You check it now.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Ito. Wala naman. Di ba?
Hindi ko alam kung saan mo chichikin ihon. Niloloko mo na kami. Hindi mo tinignan kung anong resulta ng validation?
Diningnan naman po, Mr. Chair.
And you did not find it unreasonable na isang dating PDL nagsasabi ng may baril yung isang PDL sa ibang detention center?
Meron po siyang personal knowledge doon, Mr. Chair.
Ano nga? You define personal knowledge to me.
Personally po, nagkaharap po sila ni...
Paano sila nagkaharap?
I cannot discuss the details. It should be
Why
the
can't you
deponent,
not
Mr.
discuss?
Chair.
Ikaw ang nag-apply eh.
I based
Mr.
only...
Chair.
Sobrang nakakagulat na balita. Grabe, dating maangas noon, contempt na ngayon. Police Major nagpatumba kay Mayor Espinosa, kulong sa pagsisinungaling kay ex-General Congressman Acop. Ayon sa nakalap nating impormasyon, dito na mararanasan ni Police Major Laraga ang hirap makulong daw sa loob. Mas maganda kasi mag-hearing ang mga congressman na lalantad na lahat ng kasinungalingan. Dagdag pa ng ilang netizen, nakaka-high blood ka Police Major Laraga. Huling-huli ka na, nagpapalusot ka pa? Ang hirap daw talaga sumagot pag di ka nagsasabi ng totoo. Sobrang tibay talaga ng Quadcom, buong Pilipinas saludo sa inyo. Tara panoorin natin.
Napolcom, na-charge din po ba si Colonel Marcos?
Na-charge, Your Honor, pero hindi ho nag-appeal eh. I think suspension lang ata ang sa kanya eh. Kaya hindi na po siya nag-appeal eh. Yung iba lang mga kasama ang nag-appeal,
Was
Your
his
Honor.
sentence served?
I suppose so, Your Honor. It's supposed to have been served by this time.
Suspension. How about Mayor Laraga?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I was demoted, Mr. Chair.
You were demoted.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Samantalang si Colonel Marcos na promote. Di ba doon sumasama ang loob mo?
No, not necessarily, Mr. Chair.
Not necessarily.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Pero alam ko, sumama ang loob mo eh. Di ba? Dahil ikaw, na-demote siya na promote. If you look at the orders of Colonel Marcos, it was through the orders of the President, former President, signed by the Secretary of the Interior and Local Government, as attested by DPRM, if you look at his orders. Di ba? Kaya alam ko, masama yung loob mo dahil hindi ka na ganun eh. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Ako.
Chairman.
Now, yes,
Just,
Congressman Paduano.
I consulted the COMSEC, and as far as I remember, during the previous hearing, we invite the deponent, no? And now Major Laraga is here. Major, sino nga yung deponent nyo?
Mr. Paul Olendan, Mr. Chair.
Ito,
Is he here?
case to ni, ni Mayor Espinosa.
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Magkaiba pa yung sa case ni Alvarez.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Now, in the case of Mayor Espinosa, sinong deponent?
Mr. Paul Olendan, Mr. Chair.
Anong background niya? Why he was chosen as a deponent?
He was a previous PDL, Mr. Chair.
Previous PDL.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Kaya nga sabi kanina na Polcom na yung comment yung ni Justice, well in fact walang direct knowledge yung deponent mo. Kasi dating nakakulong pero nasa labas. Paano siya, kasi supposedly the deponent has direct knowledge, di ba?
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Why him? Na hindi naman siya nakakulong.
Mr. Chair, based on the
Hearsay.
testimony of the deponent, Mr. Chair,
Testimony of whom?
Of the deponent, Mr. Chair, which was
Ang
subjected
tanong ko nga
to...
sa iyo, kasi ikaw yung nag-apply, di ba, ng search warrant?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Ikaw nag-handle.
Yes,
Now,
Mr.
anong testimony niya? Nakita niya na may baril doon sa loob?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Paano niya nakita?
He was, according to him, Mr. Chair, he was able to go inside when he was, if I'm not mistaken, invited, Mr. Chair.
Have you checked the warden that indeed your deponent has visited that jail? Sandali po, yes or no lang. Ikaw, Major Laraga,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
huwag ka magsinungaling. Yes or no? Have you checked the warden that indeed your deponent has visited the jail to confirm that indeed there is a gun?
Personally, me not, no, Mr. Chair.
Sorry?
Me personally, I did not, Mr. Chair.
Oh, you did not.
Yes, Mr.
But
Chair.
you applied for a search warrant without checking that indeed yung testimony ng deponent mo na nakapasok siya doon.
I believe, Mr. Chair, I don't have any recourse as to validate.
Ayun
Where
yung
in
problema
fact,
mo.
he has
Then
been
why?
inside jail.
Then why? You apply for search warrant.
Actually, Mr. Chair, that
And then,
illegal trade
sandali,
inside the...
You mentioned about the testimony of your deponent, di ba? Tama?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Now, tinatanong kita, paano mo na-verify na indeed that testimony is true and correct?
Mr. Chair, I was made to believe that... his
You were made to
testimony-
believe.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
But you have to check. Now, question. Sabi mo kanina, nakita niya, nakapasok siya doon nung nagbisita siya. Tama?
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Now, doon sa, ano po, kay Warden. And then the PDL, former PDL that was mentioned by Major Laraga, nakabisita po ba siya doon kay Mayor Espinosa?
Mr. Chair,
Major Laraga, pakiulit nga po yung pangalan ng former PDL.
Mr. Paul Olendan, Mr. Chair.
Do you know Paul Olendarin?
Hindi po. Your Honor.
Hindi mo kilala?
Hindi po kilala, Your Honor.
Oh, Major Laraga, hindi niya kilala. Former inmate saan yun? Siya. Hindi, ikaw. Major. Dapat alam mo yung background ng deponent mo, di ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Saan siya dati nakakulong?
I believe in Aboyog Penal Colony, Mr. Chair.
The same? No.
No, I think...
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Yes.
We do not have any PDL by the name of Ulindan. And records, upon verification of our records, he never visited the Baybay Sub-Provincial Jail Facility.
Oh, Major Laraga, hindi siya former detainee o inmate ng provincial jail. Sabi mo nga sa Abuyog. Tapos, hindi rin nag-visit doon. Medyo Laraga, huwag kang
Mr.
magsinungaling.
Chair, I cannot answer for and in behalf of my deponent and that as to regard of
No,
the version
sandali
of,
po. Hindi ko po sinasabi sa iyo that you have to answer. Ikaw po nagsabi na sinabi ng deponent mo na bumisita sa doon.
that is correct, Mr.
And
Chair.
now, the jail warden confirms na walang nangyaring visit.
I cannot attest to the
Yun ang
statement of the jail.
Yun nga, sabi ko sa iyo kanina, tinanong nga kita, have you checked?
Personally, not, Mr. Chair.
Personally?
Me personally.
Bakit sino pa ba dapat mag-check?
I believe we have a surveillance personnel who took...
Ikaw ba naman,
Validation,
Mr.
Mr. Chair.
Laraga? Ikaw yung nag-apply, principal nag-apply ng mga search warrant, tapos sabihin mo na, di ba sinabi mo kanina nagbisita siya?
Based on his testimony, Mr. Chair.
Oh, kaya nga sinasabi ko sa iyo, based on his testimony. Now, kino-confirm ngayon na walang nangyaring visit yung deponent mo. O, sino kayo may problema?
Mr. Chair, we have been filed. I was also a respondent or accused of the
Sandali po,
criminal case
I am
for...
not asking you about your case. Well, in fact, demotion lang eh, di ba? You were just demoted?
The criminal case for malicious application of search
And now you're
warrant.
invoking sub judice in
No,
this
no,
committee?
Mr. Chair, that was also the, there was a case filed against me, Mr. Chair, and then
So,
the search warrant, actually, Mr. Chair, it was the honorable judge, through searching questions and answers, who made the probable cause and issued the same, which until now, Mr. Chair, was, as ruled by the Supreme Court, was valid and the application was proper. I believe, Mr. Chair. I submit to the Supreme Court's ruling, Mr. Chair. If
valid.
that's my humble submission, Mr. Chair.
Na valid yung application ng search warrant?
Yes, Mr. Chair. It was in the ruling of the Supreme Court, Mr. Chair. I humbly submit.
May I know?
Sandali.
May I know anong ruling yan?
Mr. Chair, it was a consolidated case of all of the
Are you a
confused-
lawyer? Are you a lawyer?
I'm not, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Can you give me do you have a copy with you of the ruling?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have.
Pahingi nga kami. Paige, can you please get a copy and submit this copy to the chair? Please proceed, Congressman Paduano.
Sino po yung nag-file ng case against
It was the NBI, Mr. Chair.
the NBI?
Yeah, perjury and malicious application of search warrant, Mr. Chair.
So, the Supreme Court decided in
No,
favor?
no, sir, at the Municipal Trial Court of Pasay Samar, Mr. Chair.
So, nag-appeal ba yung NBI? Did they appeal?
I think they did not, Mr. Chair.
They didn't.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Oh, ito yung problema. NBI, are you familiar with the case?
Good evening, Mr. Chair. We are familiar with the case. However, if the questions will be about the case itself, we would like to have a moment with the records and we will submit the records of the case on the next hearing, Your Honor.
Update kami dito, no? Kasi, while you're telling this committee na yung MTC rules favorable to your case, tama?
That is correct, Mr. Chair. It was dismissed, Mr. Chair.
Pero alam mo na rin ngayon na there is a Supreme Court ruling also na
It was issued last...
sandali, na bawal mag-issue ng search warrant on government facilities.
Actually, Mr. Chair, it was fully discussed in the ruling, Mr. Chair, that it is allowed to apply a search warrant for a criminal investigation.
Sa MTC yan.
No, Mr. Chair, from the Supreme Court in bank, Mr. Chair. The one that I give the ruling, Mr. Chair. It was fully discussed in there, Mr. Chair. That's why I said I humbly submit to the ruling of the Supreme Court with that regard, Mr. Chair.
Hindi, papacheck namin ha. Papacheck namin kasi magkaiba tayo ng appreciation dyan sa ruling ng Supreme Court. Yes.
Mr. Chair, I think Major Gargar, the question of
Laraga.
Chairman Paduano was whether or not you knew for a fact that there was no, that the deponent that you brought before the court was not a detainee. Did you have prior knowledge of the fact that he was not a detainee?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So alam mong hindi siya detainee.
At that moment, Mr. Chair, he was already outside. Yeah, previously, Mr. Chair.
But you just heard the warden say that they have no records of him being a detainee.
It was from a different facility, Mr. Chair.
But you just said that it was the Abayug, what was that?
Abuyog.
Abuyog?
Yes, that is
Baybay.
correct, Mr. Chair.
We
They are from
are-
the Baybay jail.
By sub-provincial facility kami.
Okay, so where was Mayor Espinosa detained?
By sub-provincial jail facility.
Bye, and you were at what was your place? Abuyog. Well, are you at Bye?
Bye.
Kayo?
Yes.
And Major Gargar was saying that the deponent that they brought was also a detainee at Bye. Tama
No.
ba? He was a detainee at a different place. So
Yes.
if he was detained at a different place, how could he say, or how could he testify that Mayor Espinosa had these illegal things in his cell?
Mr. Chair, if I may be able to...
If they were detained at
Discuss.
different institutions.
Mr. Chair, if I may be able to discuss.
Go ahead, sir. Please.
Mr. Chair, the situation kasi noon, Mr. Chair, is that PDLs or those previously detained and also inside the jail, Mr. Chair, they have all connections from different
So
different
sinasabi mo,
jails.
chismis lang, marites. He heard. He didn't actually see.
No, Mr. Chair, he was able to penetrate based on his testimony, Mr. Chair. That is not my testimony, Mr.
He is detained at a different facility, yet he is
Before.
able to penetrate.
Before, Mr. Chair, before. So he has knowledge. He knows yung kalakaran po sa loob ng mga jails, yung with regard to illegal drug trade, Mr. Chair.
Knowing the kalakaran and actually seeing it and having personal knowledge of these things are two different things. Major Laraga, tama po ba?
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Oh, so you bring a deponent who had no personal knowledge of the things except just knowing the kalakaran in the area? Yan ang deponent mo? For the issuance of a search warrant?
No, Mr. Chair, he has personal knowledge, Mr. Chair.
How did he get personal knowledge again? Can you enlighten me po?
In his testimony, Mr. Chair, he was able to penetrate.
How did he penetrate a jail facility without him being detained there? Was he a jail guard?
There was his, actually, I don't have his sworn affidavit.
Well, you
Mr.
interviewed
Chair,
him, I'm
I
sure,
cannot,
di ba? Major Laraga, in-interview mo siya before mo siya pinesenta sa korte, tama?
Yes, Mr. Chair, and
Oh, so anong-
he was subjected to a searching question and answer
No,
by the issuing
I'm
judge.
asking you. In-interview mo ba yung deponent mo?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Oh, so ano
By
sabi
the
niya?
investigator also.
Yes, paano niya nalaman? How did he have personal knowledge? Yan ang gusto mo malaman.
It was in his affidavit,
I'm
Mr.
asking
Chair.
you interviewed him. You just said that you interviewed him.
Yun nga, Mr. Chair, nakapasok siya doon.
Paano nga makapasok?
Nagka-transaction sila ni, if I'm not mistaken, doon sa nagkaroon sila ng mismong physical, ni the late Mayor
Okay.
Espinosa.
Major Laraga, explain how he explained to you paano siya nakapasok as an ordinary civilian na hindi detainee in a jail facility. Paano siya nakapasok?
Actually, Mr. Chair, the allegation na mayroong collusion between mga bantay doon sa loob is yun yung reason na nakapasok sila. And that has been already almost public knowledge in the penal institutions there in Region 8, Mr. Chair. Alam naman po nung almost lahat ng operatiba doon prior to that, Mr. Chair. Talagang
So ang sinabi niya sa'yo by collusion with some jail guards maybe and some other persons inside the jail, he was able to go inside. Is that correct? Major
yes,
Laraga?
Mr. Chair, through the influence of the drug lord, Espinosa drug group.
And that from his entry into that facility, he was able to see firsthand how things were being done. That's why you're saying that he had personal knowledge of these things.
That is correct, Mr. Chair, based on his testimony, Mr.
And you believe that, Major Laraga?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Because you
I
brought him.
believe. Because prior to that, Mr. Chair, I had been operative, and we already had an intel information with regard to that illegal drug trade inside the penal colony and any detention facilities,
Okay,
Mr. Chair.
now, is that the reason why when you entered the facility, you wore a bonnet or covered your face?
Mr. Chair, that is not true, Mr.
That
Chair.
is not true.
I was not wearing bonnet, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
is it true that you turned off the CCTV system inside the jail facility?
That is not true, Mr. Chair.
So none
And,
of you did. It was all working at the same time.
Yes, Mr. Chair. With regard to that, Mr. Chair, we had been also charged with with that particular violation, Mr. Chair,
And?
by the NBI.
By the NBI.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Also in court.
In court, Mr.
Also
Chair.
dismissed.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Oh, you have a very good lawyer. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair?
Thank you, Congressman Flores.
Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
Congressman Akop.
Yes. Major Laraga, how long have you been with CIDG?
Since 8 years,
8
almost 8 years, Mr. Chair.
8 years.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And how many times have you applied for a search warrant?
Several times already, Mr. Chair.
Several times.
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Now, may I know, kung yung deponent ninyo dun sa kaso ni Mayor Espinosa ay walk-in o kayo ang nag-secure?
I believe there was a...
Ano ang talagang nangyari? Hindi ko
May-
tinatanong kung ano yung paniwala mo.
Pardon, I'm sorry,
Ang
Mr. Chair.
tinatanong ko, whether your deponent ay walk-in, nag-volunteer ng sarili niya, o hinanap ninyo. Hindi ko tinatanong kung anong paniwala mo.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It was the... not walk-in, Mr. Chair. It was
Ano
not
nga? Nag-volunteer siya?
No, Mr. Chair.
Hinanap niyo siya?
Our
How
police,
did you come to know your
police
deponent?
handler. There was a police handler, Mr. Chair.
Ano?
There was a handler, Mr. Chair, an agent.
Sino
police.
yung handler na police na yun?
He was already retired, Mr. Chair.
Ang galing
I
mong
believe.
gumawa ng istorya eh.
Yes, I'm certain,
Now,
Mr. Chair.
Sige, assuming na mayroon siyang handler, since when na naging handler yung kuha na yun, informant nyo na yun, yung deponent? Binubola mo na ako eh.
Hindi, actually, hindi naman po, Mr. Chair, na bubola, Mr. Chair. Talagang mayroon lang po talaga siyang personal knowledge sa
Hindi ko naman tinatanong
pangyayari.
kung may personal knowledge eh. Ang tinatanong ko, how did you come to know the deponent? Ikaw nag-apply ng search warrant eh.
It was introduced to me by our personnel, Mr. Chair. That na
Sino
merong...
nga yung nag-introduce sa'yo? What's the name?
Of our personnel, Mr. Chair.
Oo nga. Marunong ka bang umintindi ng English? Tatagalugin ko. Sino ang nag-introduce sa'yo nung deponent?
It was retired Kayubit, Mr. Chair.
Alin? Retired na siya nung in-introduce niya?
No, right
Active
now.
pa siya noon?
Active pa siya noon at that
May I
time.
know the name and the address?
Melvin Kayubit, Mr. Chair, at Palo
Alin?
Leyte.
Ano?
Melvin Kayubit.
Mr. Chair, may I move that we, in the next hearing, we invite subject person mentioned by Mayor Laraga as the deponent in the search warrant against or issued against the late Mayor Espinosa.
Comsec, you are directed to invite the said person named by Congressman Ako.
Nung ipinakilala sa iyo yung deponent, ano ang protocol dapat kung si IDG ka for 8 years?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have to, of course, the investigator must interview and do a background and validation, Mr. Chair.
You have to conduct a review, interview and validation.
And validation of the
Ikaw.
the investigator, Mr. Chair, our investigator who will get the
And who
testimony.
was the investigator who conducted the review, the interview and validation?
It was, Mr. Chair, can I check the record first?
You check it now.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Hindi ko alam kung saan mo checkin ihon. Niloloko mo na kami.
I'm sorry, Mr. Baka magkamali ako dun sa pangalan, Mr.
Sige
Chair.
nga, hanapin mo. Saan mo hanapin dyan?
Mr. Chair, I could not, if my recollection is correct, Mr. Chair, it was PO3 Johnny Ibanez.
PO3 Johnny
Ibanez,
Ibanez.
Mr. Chair.
Is he still in the active service?
I believe he already also retired, Mr. Chair.
He also retired.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
PO3 siya, nag-retire?
Yes, Mr. Chair, PO3.
PO3. Nag-retire siya, mandatory or optional?
I think
Kasi
it's
PO3
optional.
siya,
I think-
kailan lang
I think
nangyari
it's
yun
optional.
iho eh. So wala pa siyang 20 years or 30 years or 56 years old.
Yes, Mr. Chair, maybe optional, Mr. Chair.
Optional. Huwag mo ako paglulukuhin ha. I'll find a way. Colonel Punanan, Will you please take the name dun sa sinabi niya and kindly give this committee the details whether nag-retire nga siya optionally o hindi? Pakitanong sa kanya yung pangalan at rangko. Kasi the way you're answering me, you're already quibbling, Major Laraga. Now, noong in-interview at saka validate, ikaw ba nag-conduct ng sarili mong validation when the investigator reported to you as far as his validation is concerned?
Negative, Mr. Chair.
Negative, wala ka nang ginawa. Hindi ka man lang
Informally, Mr. Chair.
I beg your pardon?
Informally, just calling some,
Hindi mo tinignan kung anong resulta ng validation?
tinignan naman po, Mr. Chair.
And you did not find it unreasonable na isang dating PDL nagsasabi ng may baril yung isang PDL sa ibang detention center?
Credible naman po yung binabanggit nung
Credible sa
deponent,
iyo?
Mr. Chair.
Credible sa iyo?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Ang galing mong sumagot, pero yung bagay na yon is credible sa iyo.
Oo naman, Mr. Chair.
Paano maging credible yun? Paano niya nalaman na merong baril si Mayor Espinosa doon sa Kwan?
Meron po siyang personal knowledge doon, Mr. Chair.
Ano nga? You define personal knowledge to me.
Personally po, nagkaharap po sila ni...
Paano sila nagkaharap?
I cannot discuss the details. It should be
Why
the
can't you
deponent,
not
Mr.
discuss?
Chair.
Ikaw ang nag-apply eh.
Mr.
Chair?
I endorsed in the application, Mr. Chair, I endorsed the
Nga,
testimony of
tinatanong nga
the
kita.
sworn affidavit.
Nung nag-report sa iyo, hindi mo ba napansin kung reasonable o unreasonable yung validation? Kasi dapat magsuspecha ka na paano nakapagbibigay yung isang tao na dating PDL pero hindi naman PDL sa baybay ng statement na may baril si the late Mayor Espinosa doon sa selda niya.
Mr. Chair, kasi nakapasok daw siya doon, sir. At saka may contact,
Kasasabi lang
may
ng-
connection naman sila.
Major Laraga, kasasabi lang ng mga officials doon, ni wala silang bisita na ganun, ni hindi sila nagkaroon ng PDL na ganun. You are lying!
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, but I cannot...
Mr. Chair, may I respectfully move that we cite Major Laraga in contempt for violation of Section 11.
Seconded.
There's a
So
motion.
move, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion to cite Major Laraga in contempt for violating Section 11 and duly seconded. Are there any objections? Hearing none, you are now cited in contempt, Major Laraga. Comsec? Take note. Second motion.
Second motion, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Congressman Paduano.
May I respectfully move that Major Laraga will be detained in the Quezon City Jail in a period of until the committee report will be approved in the plenary, Mr. Chairman. So move.
There's a motion to detain Major Laraga at the Quezon City Jail until the termination of the committee hearing and the approval of the committee report in the plenary. Any second? Duly seconded. Any objections? Hearing none. The motion is approved.
Ngayon, ikaw, bilang Pilipino, ano ang masasabi mo at reaksyon sa balitang ito? Mag-iwan ka ng komento sa ibaba at atin pong babasahin isa-isa.